my stream's live as well.
Okay, we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Land of Dreams and Nightmares. I am your Dungeon Master, Esper, and I have with us our usual crew. So we'll go through and introduce everyone, do a quick recap, and then we'll get into the adventure. So as usual, let's just do it alphabetically. Adam, Dennis, Nick, Vince, Warsor.
So, as before, I'm Adam, and as for the last couple of sessions, I'm playing Carderock Hawkness, the weird multi-class bard paladin College of Swords dealio, who is a combined level of 9.
Hey everybody, my name is Dennis, and as always, I am playing Lykar Vantis, the level 8 Storm Sorcerer.
Hello, I'm Nick. I'm playing Robin, the level 7 Arcane Trickster. I'm very tricky, as the name implies.
Who has survived 2 sessions.
Yes, which is a record.
Session. Oh, yes, I broke the curse.
But this might mean the booster curse, and... I am Vince. I play Drake Fell, the monk rogue.
I'm Warsor, and I play Captain Noxiqual, the level 8 Hexblade Warlock.
Who wants to start off on a recap? The party traveled from Grenadoa down the southern Starfall Road, heading towards Ravenswold.
I'll start us off. Well, we pretty much started the session off with Robin rushing back to the boat to tell Noxiqual. Well, not only just tell him, to wake him from his sleep about his time at the Lusty Mermaid, which then turned into complete madness with Drake dropping an orb of darkness onto Robin and then bolting away and then dropping a couple more onto him.
Shenanigans happened. Watch the episode.
Yeah, just watch it.
Watch like the first 30 minutes. That'll tell you everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
I ran into the mass at one point.
Yeah.
It was a great 30 minutes of torture.
Pretty good.
But
you have an NPC with you as well, Dwarven Crossbowman. He stayed on the boat, but he was a bit concerned about all the mischief making.
Yeah. I think I almost scared him off, but he'll be fine.
Yeah, he did stay in the end.
Yeah. And then right now, to move on, I guess we started going towards
Ravenswold.
Ravenswold. And
feel obligated to interject one point here that Robin wants to save this woman from
yes, Baron.
Yeah. That's a small plot point, very small.
Yeah, small plot
he's
point.
trying to save her from her life of terribleness.
Yes, Robin's become quite infatuated with the fair Baron. So,
sorry, please go on.
Then everyone took to the road. You were traveling westward down the Starfall Road. You passed through a village called Fleecefoten, and then you continued on from there, heading towards Ravenswold.
I got painting tools.
You picked up some painting tools
and
for perhaps dubious roguish purposes.
And a singular bean.
And a single bean, yes.
Watch to find out what happens with the bean and the rogue.
Tale of the rogue and the bean is one you're not likely to have seen.
Then we also dealt with some giant spiders of some sorts.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and they killed one of our horses, right?
Well, it was doing death.
Our horses
Almost, yeah.
Paladin heals, and very grateful. What did you say his name was? Marius, or the cart driver?
It was
Mateos of Grenadoa.
That's it. Yeah.
And I know that
I have a bunch of notes. Yes, Mateos of Grenadoa. Mm-hmm.
And I think the session ended toward after we finished killing the hag, and she almost stole our bag of holding.
Yes.
Well, sold almost Drake's, because we technically have 2 bags. Drake has one. Okay. Who has the second one? I want to say Lykar.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first encounter along the road when you were in the woodsy area, actually there was both woodsy areas, was a couple of giant spiders. You dispatched them pretty handily, though. One did envenom one of the horses, and the paladin used lay on hands, or perhaps in this case, nay on hands, and the horse recovered. Then the second encounter was a little tricky thing. It seemed like an owl was talking to Drake, and then it ended up being an encounter where this disguised or glamored green hag snatched the bag of holding with the winged boots in it, and she tried to steal away, and you all successfully intimidated her, basically at threat of killing her with ranged magic and attacks, and you ended up killing her anyways in the end.
Yeah, I was gonna let her go, and then she attacked Noxiqual. Like, I was gonna be like, oh yeah, let's just let her go. She'll be fine. She doesn't have her bag, and then she's just like, screech!
Spoiler alert.
Oh, you dumb bitch.
She was not going to get away.
No, she was not. There's no way that was going to. Drake did find a grimoire.
Yeah, at the end of the encounter, you all pilfered through her person, and Drake located, a strange old book with musty, faded pages and many a scribbled tale inside of it. It's still nighttime. You all have not finished resting. It's a windy and cold night here, and it's winter has descended over the land of Dreckengrim. So let's continue on from where we paused last time. So Drake, you have this musty old book in your hand. What are you doing?
Let me see that, says Captain Noxiqual.
Drake's looking at it right now, and he's flipping through the pages trying to see if he recognizes anything. He wouldn't know the language, correct?
Does he know how to read?
Not really. He doesn't really know how to read.
Oh, a picture.
Yeah. He's mostly looking to see if he can recognize anything.
I'm going to walk over and be like, do you need help reading that, Drake?
He hands it to Noxiqual.
Okay. I take the book and I read it with my eyes of the Runekeeper. What does the title say?
The majority of the book is written in the common tongue, though you do notice every once in a while notes or passages that are in the Sylvan tongue, which I believe your eyes of the Runekeeper allow you to decipher.
Any language written. Yes.
Any written language. Excellent. So as you're looking over the book, you determine that it is a collection of old tales. Is this interesting to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in anything written that might have secrets in it.
Do you say any of that out loud?
I'll read the title of the book if it has a title.
Tales of the Mystic Wanderers of Afar, you say? Well, yeah.
Wanderers of Afar?
I've heard of this.
The title is Tales Told Around Cauldrons.
Also, take a collection
full of evil deeds, or tales of them. Pretty lasses in taverns especially enjoy it, or so I've heard. You would know there, fair Robin. You've seen a bit of the seedy underbelly of Grenador, have you not?
Oh yes, I have, and it's been quite an adventure, should I say?
Yes.
Many rewards.
I will look over.
That went well away from this volume, fair Noxiqual.
What?
Noxiqual, you are reading through these stories. There are a lot of old folk tales. You read the story of, about a princess who drops her golden orb into a pool in the woods and has a strange interaction with a toad, and a story about a farmer and his wife and their only daughter, and the devil, or a devil, tricks her, and eventually she has to cut off her hands, and she wanders the world for many years, and the father finally goes searching for her and finds her living with a strange hermit, and through the grace of the gods, her hands are recovered and she's given hands of silver. And you're reading through all these old tales, interesting and curious legends they are, and you notice that a toad has appeared. A little hop toad has kind of come up next to you. It's a pretty cold night for a toad to be out. And he's just sitting there with his little throat, doing its little pulsating thing. Just there on a little piece of ground next to you.
I want to look at Noxiqual and point at it and say, is that your toad, Noxiqual?
I look down at the toad. I say, this toad is unnatural. It should not be out in this weather. Toad, do you speak?
Well, obviously toads don't speak, Noxiqual.
The toad just kind of scratches its head and just stares there with his big, buggy toad eyes.
Drake's going to walk over to it and pick up the toad.
If only we still had our...
The toad begins peeing.
I had to speak with animals. Oh.
Well, so it's just being on the ground because Drake's picked it up from the back, so he wouldn't be being peed on. You just picked it up.
You give the toad a
shake and then toss
a few shakes, a few jiggles, make sure it's done, and it just looks like a regular toad in your hand.
I have a question. The Sylvan bits, do they look handwritten by, like, the hag, written in the margins, kind of?
So the entire book is handwritten, but just in comparing the two, the bits written in Sylvan look to be of a different handwriting, not as well written. Whoever transcribed this book probably literally was a scribe, and they had beautiful handwriting, and this is just kind of a scratchy, less well-refined type of handwriting.
What do the Sylvan bits say?
There appears to be a number of parts where they're drawing insights out of the allegories expressed through the fables and such. However, there is one section that's written kind of towards the back of the book in a margin, and it seems to be a riddle of sorts. You, if you would like, can make an investigation check to try to solve this.
I don't suppose there's a real riddle that I can try and solve.
So it's a riddle of sorts. It's not a riddle specifically. It looks like someone has they have cryptically phrased their sentence as for it to hide the information that it contains, but it seems to be pointing towards some location.
I've got my investigation check for you.
Yeah.
While Noxiqual is looking over the book, and Drake is holding the frog, I want to walk over to Drake and put my arm around him and say, there's a story that says if a princess kisses the frog, it will turn into a prince. Would you like to try?
Drake's just gonna look at Robin and go for it.
I'm gonna bow and say, no, after you, Your Majesty.
That's how you get warts.
Drake's gonna look at the toad and just drop it.
I rolled a 21 on my investigation, by the way.
All right, so they're checking out the toad. It's just being a toad. You rolled really high in your investigation. This phrase, you have unpacked and untangled it, and you have determined the location of something known as the secret playground.
Secret playground.
It is going to be in the woods northeast of Ravenswold. Or I should say it is in the woods northeast of Ravenswold.
So if you share that, Drake's going to speak up then.
Assume we're back around the fire at this point, because I'm not going to just stand there in the woods reading this book, freezing my ass off.
Wait, is the toad around the fire with us?
It is. It's staying. You're all, keeping warm by the fire. Mateos is there as well. He's protective over the horses and looking after the wagon and such.
Could I attempt to tame this toad?
What would you like to do?
Could I? Sorry, he seems friendly to us and he's around the fire with us. I want to see if I can make him my pet.
Okay. He seems pretty easy to. He doesn't seem shy or scared. And are you picking him up? Or you?
Yeah. I want to pick him up and sort of just inspect him and look at him and see if he's willing to be a pet, I guess.
Okay. So you're doing that, and Noxiqual is going over this book, and so there's a bit of a connection that happens. Nox, you get the deciphering of this location of the secret playground, and maybe you flip a couple more pages just to see if there's any additional pertinent information. And the very next thing that you lay eyes on is a story about a warlock, and the character in the story is a warlock who takes up a toad as a familiar. And then you look over at Robin, who's like petting this toad on his lap, and the toad seems to basically take a liking to whoever is doting upon it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'll just blast the toad. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
just
Seems a little coincidental.
What happens in the story with the toad and the warlock?
Oh, well, the warlock gains help from the toad. He becomes a bit heartier, and the toad listens to him and will do little favors for him.
Is this toad reacting to me at all yet? Like, is we?
It seems perfectly content to stay in your hand or lap or wherever you've placed it.
Robin, let me see that toad.
No, my toad. I pull it back a little bit and start sort of shelter it from Noxiqual. You're gonna eat it. I know your kind. You like boiling things in pots and making magical spells.
Drake's gonna make a grab for the toad to hand it over because he can see what's gonna happen.
I'm getting it.
Toad's gonna end up in the fire.
All right, so what's happening to the toad here exactly? I just heard a couple different things. I don't know which one to believe.
Drake's going to move around behind Robin and grab the toad out of his hands and then toss him over to
not let him take my toad.
Noxiqual.
Okay, so Robin, you are not okay with this. So let's have Drake make a sleight of hand check, and then Robin make a what would Robin make here? Maybe a dexterity saving throw.
Acrobatics.
Sure, acrobatics.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Acrobatics.
Either one of those sounds good to me.
Oh, this
is not good.
That's 6. I got a 27.
Well, 27 sounds better than not good.
Yeah, so you're gonna beat it no matter what.
All right.
Yeah, I rolled a nat 16 and then I get plus 11 because
I have
Robin, what's your reaction to that? Do you take that as a affront, or do you just take it as a game?
I'm a little offended that he's trying to take my toad. I'm gonna back away and get into a position where I'm more secure as holding the toad to look at all of you with glaring eyes.
Does Robin really want the toad?
Oh, I really want this toad. Now that
Robin really wants the toad. Does anyone else have a stronger opinion than that?
I would like to speak. Yeah.
Robin,
I think that you should stop holding that toad. It's very odd that it showed up in relation to this hag in the book. It may be magical and be doing something to you. I think you should prove to us that it's not bewitched you by putting it down.
I'm going to talk to him and say, are you doing something bad to us? I'm going to look at you and going to say, why can't I have the toad? Why do you have to get everything? I earned it.
I'm not saying that you can't have the toad, but you need to put the toad down.
Fine. And I'm going to sort of slowly put the toad down and still be in a defensive position if anyone tries to take my toad.
Could I cast Detect Magic on the toad? Do you think
that's actually a good idea? Yeah.
Okay. Lykar, you inspect the toad.
I mean,
magically.
I'm assuming that Nox is telling us what's kind of going on in the book, and
yeah, I was in the midst of that.
Yeah, I'll let Lykar approach it and whatnot. Let's do detect magic.
You do detect magic on this toad. You detect what kind of magic would this be? You detect conjuration magic.
Also, it might have been conjured.
What I was going to do, without even knowing that information, was Mage Hand pick up the toad and just hover him in the air.
All right, you levitate the toad. The little thing is there in midair with your ghostly hand.
Yep.
I'm gonna look at Noxiqual. I'm gonna say, so, serious talk. What do you think this toad has in store for us? Because if there was a toad within your book, and I'm assuming you told me about the Warlock thing.
I was reading out loud, yeah.
If there was a toad and a Warlock within the book, well, we have a Warlock here, and I was messing with the toad. I didn't feel anything off about it, but apparently from Lykar, it does indeed have some magical properties. What do you think we should do? I don't know. I mean, we could just turn it into frog legs. I know that they're tasty, but I also very much like the toad. He seems to have a knack for me.
Yes, well, let's see if this toad is something that could be helpful or harmful first. Lykar, what did you detect about it?
I'm detecting a conjuration magic about of it. And it's very ironic that we were just reading about this book, and now, all of a sudden, here is a toad. So, I'm wondering where this warlock could be.
Well, there is that location in the woods. Perhaps we should check that out. And
we're not getting sidetracked. We have a goal here. We will investigate that after we have completed our goal.
May I keep the toad?
I think that would be unwise.
Robin,
This one thinks the bird should
first you seek to collect strumpets, and now you seek to collect toads.
Well, it's a magical toad.
At least the first were humanoid and not amphibians. Magic toads, magic beans. It's just
Let me do one thing with it. I wish to see if it interacts with my magic in any way. And I'm going to reach out and touch the toad and just kind of feel and see if it resonates with my pact magic in any way.
That's true because you are a warlock, so.
Does a little mask appear on its face?
You just start turning into a frog, Noxiqual.
Make an Arcana check using charisma.
Using charisma.
Oh.
That will increase it by 3. Yep. Okay.
Excuse me.
And... the die is cocked. Oh, it's so bad. Okay.
Just give the table a nice pound like that.
It was more on the 19 side than it was, but it was like the 1 was almost there. So I'm going to call it the 19, and I do apologize if I messed that up. But,
DM, I promise it was a 20, not a 1.
It was, so it'll be a 27.
Oh, that's good.
I'll roll it over here where it won't get cocked.
Something interesting happens.
Ooh. Okay.
You interact with the toad basically invoking your warlock investiture that you are endowed with, and you feel that feeling that you felt oh so many times when you're in the presence of your patron or when he's communicating with you, and the little hairs stand up on the back of your neck, and there's a slight chill in the air, and from the shadows, a mask like made of onyx appears, grinning like it always does, and it chomps the toad, killing it.
Delicious.
I'm gonna scream out in like a very dramatic way, like, "Oh no! You killed my toad, Noxiqual! What have you done?" And I'm gonna get up and like get closer to him and be like, "Your black magic will not be tolerated here any longer."
I just raise the eyebrow over my good eye at you, like,
The Mask of Shadows, before dissipating, says to you, Noxiqual, "Do me a favor. Burn that book."
Does anyone else
toss
hear
the
that?
book in the fire.
Wait, did anyone else hear that thing, or was it just Noxiqual?
Everyone.
Drake's pissed now because that was technically his book.
Wait,
You want to try to save it from the flames?
Yeah.
So that would be in defiance of Noxiqual and Noxiqual's patron. Are you okay with that? You care about it enough?
Yeah, well, he found it. He wants to...
All right. Well, you're a quick guy. He just threw it in there now, so you could pretty easily save it from the flames. Is anyone trying to stop Drake from doing that?
I actually tried to stop him.
I want to help him. I want to help Drake.
Okay, Nox is trying to stop him, and then you're trying to help Drake.
Yes.
Okay, so first, Robin, make a sleight of hand check. You could tell me how you're trying to help him. That would kind of determine things.
I think.
Are you trying to block Noxiqual? Are you trying to help him get the book out of the fire?
That's a good question. I didn't think this far ahead. I don't want to try and.
Well, what would Robin do? Like, what's his?
I'd probably try and like stop it from getting into the fire, like as Noxiqual through it.
Okay, so make a sleight of hand check as a helping action here.
Okay.
So you'll give Drake some advantage.
Actually, that's a 13.
Okay, Drake, you have sleight of hand advantage, and then Noxiqual, what are you doing?
To try to keep in the fire. If I see them reaching for it, I would probably. Let's see.
I got a 9 on my sleight of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Even with advantage?
I would probably
just
thinking darkness. Darkness seems legit for a minute, just to distract them.
Okay, so make an Arcana check.
Sure. Not using my charisma anymore. Yes.
Correct. Just regular Arcana intelligence.
22.
All right. Yeah. Things do not go well for your attempt, Drake, and you're essentially faced with fumbling around blindly, sticking your hands into burning flames and roasting them, or leaving it alone.
Drake's going to pull back at that point.
Yeah, I don't want to burn my hands.
And the book is immolated.
I'm going to look at Noxiqual.
As soon as the book's done, I snap my fingers and the darkness disappears because I can see through the darkness, so I know when it's finished.
You look at Noxiqual and be like, first, you kill my toad, then you burn my book.
Why is it your book?
Yeah, it was Drake's book if it was anyone's.
Put my hands up.
And I don't think that we actually made any decisions about the toad. You decided, but you don't speak for the rest of us.
Well, I like the toad.
Duly noted. It's dead.
Can we at least
Mateos comes up with a wineskin in his hand. No, let's not get all bickering over witches, toads, and hag books out in the forest. It's probably better that we just let that go and just try to stay safe and survive the night. Here, let's drink on it. He takes a nice swig and passes the wineskin around.
Words of wisdom. I look over at Drake and I say, I'm sorry about the book, but I trust my patron had good reason for what he said.
Drake nods his head and goes, this one understands, but the passage about the playground, the hag mentioned that, and the winged boots were connected.
We can always still investigate the playground. We have that information.
Very well, then. This one would wish for the next book to be able to keep it.
I will weigh that heavily when this situation comes up again, so long as it does not interfere with any of my patrons' direct desires.
This one can agree to that for now.
All right, so it seems we've come to more or less a resolution to this scene. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. The night continues on and passes by without further incident. And I am glad you have not sneezed your brains out, Adam.
During the night, I'd like to sort of try and buddy up with the carriage driver, like sort of just like talking him up and letting him drink some and telling him stories of my adventures and him telling me stories of his magic bean, a lot about his magic bean. I'm gonna imply I want to know a lot about his magic bean.
He's starting to get kind of protective and possessive over it. You know, no one's really taken him seriously before, and then here you come and. Suddenly there's a whole new value that he's attributing to his leftover bean. This is it's like a luck stone for me. I run my thumb over it at night when I think about old Bessie.
I'm gonna put my arm around and be like, my friend, what you have here.
He's looking at your hand where your arm is. Yes.
What you have here is something very, very special, and it is, I'm sure, very powerful.
It's only a fraction of the even more special, something even more special that I once had.
Let me tell you this. There are people, I'm going to sort of look around a bit, that would try to take this precious object from you.
He's talking about himself.
I'm sort of getting in close, whispering it, like, be like, make sure you keep an eye out, and I'll make sure I help keep an eye out for it as well. I know that I know the loss of something special. It can hurt.
Thank you for that, I guess.
Of course. Now, drink up, and I'll give him more of his wine thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, drink while we still can. Yes. He takes a nice swig off of the wine skin while remaining one hand over his belt pouch. He has a bit of a confused look. Make a... Well, you tell me. What are these? Are you deceiving him, or are you now... Have you had a change of heart and you're being genuine with him?
No, I'm definitely trying to deceive him. I'm trying to basically imply that like I'm here to help him so that to like keep this keepsake safe, and that maybe some people in the party might want to take it.
Mm-hmm. Make a deception check.
Okay, come on. Not a nat one. I'm very good at this. Okay. That's what? 6, 11, 14.
14?
But not horrible.
He seems comforted by your words.
Good.
I am very tired now. Let's just hope there's no more incidents.
I'll let him go to sleep.
He lays his head down. You notice he kind of like mumbles something under his breath as he's drifting off there. The night passes by without incident. The next morning you wake up, you do your business and get yourselves ready and eat a breakfast and get the horses harnessed up to the wagon and back onto the road heading westward. You continue, and you should be coming upon Ravenswold pretty quickly now. Yes, indeed. So you're on the road for under an hour when the sparse trees pretty much thin out to a rolling stretch of plains. You come across some fields. You can see hills rising in the distance and a town nestled at the feet of these hills. You pass by quite a few farmsteads on the way here. There are all kinds of corn, mainly cornfields with scarecrows in them. You see people, well, it's winter now, right? So it'd be mainly just the aftermath of the harvest at this point. You see a shepherd herding a small flock of sheep. You see some people coming and going from the town, perhaps people that have done some trading or they're heading off to do some trading in Grenadoa. You see a couple of town guards, and they're patrolling the road nearby. Ravenswold itself has a wooden wall that goes up some, maybe some 15 feet or so. And it's just like, wooden, these, the big wooden posts with mortar between them, lashed up tight with heavy rope bonds. And they're cut into sharp spikes at the top. And there's some sort of scaffolding for guards to walk along the inside.
A palisade?
A more simpler palisade. At the front gates, the guards, they don't really pay too much attention to you. They kind of glance at you. They seem pretty concerned about their own conversation, and they don't really seem like they want to ask you all any questions. You even see a little look in their eyes, almost like maybe they're a bit not timid, cautious as to ask questions for tough-looking road adventurers.
But we're riding a carriage.
The town on the inside has an architecture that is somewhat reminiscent of Grenadoa, yet different. It's still human architecture. Oh, am I breaking up here?
No, you're fine.
No, that was for Warsaw.
Oh, for Warsaw. Okay.
Warsor's mic was a little robotic.
So it's still a human architecture, but the styling is a bit different here. The buildings have more severe angles. The wood is of a darker coloration. A lot of the buildings seem to kind of like leer or lean at certain angles. They have a lot of buildings that jut out quite a bit from the upper floors. Everything's real packed close together.
Does it seem like a little less like wealthy than Grenadoa?
That is true, but most places would be less wealthy than Grenadoa. Grenadoa's basically the second largest and second wealthiest human settlement in probably second tier settlement in all of Drekengrim.
Gotcha. Okay.
There are townsfolk going about their day-to-day work of repairing and cleaning and preparing food and etc. It seems to be a fairly active town. Winter has fallen, so there's that. It's not as lively as it would be when the weather is fair. Yeah. So you all have arrived. What's your first?
Quick thing,
your first destination here.
I did want to remind myself. What are we doing here exactly again? We're looking for that.
Looking for the prophet. Oh, what's her name?
Fainel Donan.
Yeah.
Fainel.
Okay.
We're looking directly for Fainel Donan, who we have several times characters in this campaign have heard of or gone looking for, but we've not yet ever met.
Yeah. I'll speak up and say, perhaps we should go talk to Varan's family to sort of get an idea of just ideas about the city and about what's going on.
Family?
Fair Varan's. She came from here. The
your whore.
I actually don't have a response to that. Yeah, I'll just smile and say that's one way to put it.
Drake's gonna scoot away from where Robin's sitting at.
Well, I think we should stick together whatever we do. I think honestly we should just ask someone if they know where Fainel Donan is. She's a notable figure. I imagine everyone would probably have some idea where she is.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's a town square. There's an old temple, but it's actually now just this kind of a vacant ground, and layabouts and drunkards are just hanging around there. So it's like the old stone columns and such temple style, but it doesn't look like it actually has any religious rites. Let's see.
Let's go to the town square.
There's a tavern, there's an inn, there's a brothel. There are actually a couple other temples here, but they're not to gods.
There's a brothel on this size town?
Oh, yes, yes.
I mean, that, a temple, and a pub, aren't those like things you find in every town?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Depends on the size of the town.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess if it's like a thorp, you might not, but like... Yeah.
If it's like an outpost settlement,
The population of Ravenswold is about 2,500.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
you would have actually all that stuff then by that point.
That makes a lot more sense. Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like to go. Could I go to the pub? To like the tavern, like the.
So you're splitting the party.
Did we want to all go somewhere else? Sorry.
Okay. I mean, I was just saying that we should stick together.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine too. If we want to do that as well.
I mean, the pub is definitely an option on the table, but let's all discuss where should we go. I think we should go to the town.
Well, we're in the square currently.
Are we?
Is that where we are?
All right, Mateus has brought the wagon into the town square. You see a few people just speaking town gossip. There are some shop fronts. It's pretty chilly, so there's not too many people outside. It's not a thronging market at the moment, but you do see there are people occupying and living their day-to-day lives here.
Okay. Well, if we're already here, why don't we just ask about the Neldonin?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just ask a couple of the passerbys.
Yeah. Is there a town crier or anyone like that's?
No one's doing that, but there's a couple of people nearby that are just doing their regular jaw flapping, and you just casually ask them. It sounds like, oh, the prophetess Faye Neldonin, yeah, she's been visiting here for a while. She talks a lot about how things are in Dreckengrim nowadays and the people, I don't know where she's been staying, but she's been giving talks out there, back of the tavern.
Back of the tavern, all right.
Do you know when she goes there to give the talks?
There's always before nightfall. I haven't taken part in them myself. There's apparently a crowd that gathers every time, though.
What kind of talks are these, perhaps?
She thinks that I guess she doesn't really believe in anything. I don't know. Some kind of atheist philosopher. I'm not sure. That's not my cup of tea. No.
Noxiqual kind of perks up a little bit at that. Someone else that doesn't give the gods the time of day.
I'm gonna sort of look at Noxiqual and say, perhaps we should go to one of these talks.
I agree. It's a ways off till nightfall, though, so we can kill some time, I guess, at the tavern and wait there until the talk begins.
Well, actually, he said she always speaks before nightfall.
That's what I meant. Like, it's still a ways. We're here in the morning. Yeah.
Hey, what time is it right now?
Yeah, you were on the road for maybe 2 hours before you arrived in Ravenswold. So at the moment, it's late morning time.
Okay.
Was that Nick? Oh.
I just said okay. Yeah, about
okay.
the time. Yeah.
All right. Well, we could spend time at the tavern, just kill time, or any shops here. I doubt there's anything super fancy, but
anything
we get lucky.
Yeah, I mean, just in sight, you can see there's an outfitter and there's some other shops where people are going to buy food and supplies and repair materials and such, clothing, boots, hats. Nothing here in the town square really catches your eye in terms of like a specialty shop, but there has to be something interesting about this place if you dig in. You've heard some quirky things about Ravenswold.
I have. I'll ask the same person. Are there any magic users in the town that have a store or shop of any sort?
Oh, yes, there's it's the father of what's his name? The father of Torvili. Yes, the father of Torvili. He has a shop called wasn't it called the Frosted Anvil? Not the Frosted Anvil, the Frosted Antler. Oh yes, the Frosted Antler. You'll just want to go back down that street, and you come to the the Well of the Deep Drinker. The Well of Nevermore. Take a right, and it'll be at the end of the lane.
What was the guy's name again?
Well, he mentioned a name, Torvili, and apparently his father owns Frosted Antler.
Okay.
I've written that down.
Are we going to tell Mateos to wait for us then?
Mateos, what are your plans?
Oh, well, you've hired me, so I'm content as long as you're paying me.
Can you stay around for a day or two, perhaps? I don't imagine we'll be here too long.
Yeah, I'll be at High Feather. He points to the tavern.
We'll square up when we meet you to make the return trip.
Oh, yeah, just fine. Enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Is my quick question? Is the bean that I've been painting, is that finished being painted yet?
Okay, yeah.
Or,
you completed it. It was a real simple and fast thing. Just a single bean.
And it looks like his bean?
Yeah, you think so? You did your best.
I want to look at Noxiqual and sort of go to him and be like, I think I'm going to go to the tavern with a buddy here.
I just kind of arch an eyebrow at you, inciting. Really?
Yes, I think that we could have some nice drinks together. And I look at him and say, "Hey, I'll even buy you some drinks. You've been a great carrot Jonah here. How's that sound?"
Does anyone else want to go to the tavern?
Yep.
All right, Carderock. Anyone else?
This one would like to look at the temple that was abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go check out the magic shop.
I figured you would.
Go buy your wands. I'll hear tell of what tales are told in the tavern.
I'd actually like to go with Drake. Lykar, will you be all right on your own?
I hope so.
Don't kill any frogs while you're in there, especially the magic ones like that.
If you need, just send a fireball up. I'm sure we'll see it wherever you are.
Yes, if you hear loud boomings, then just come running.
Well,
all right. So let's just kind of go in order of who's going to the closest location to who's going to the farthest location. So the tavern's the closest. It's right there at the town square. It's actually side by side with an inn. The tavern is called High Feather, and the inn is called Candle Lodge. And there are actually two of the nicer looking buildings that you have seen so far in Ravenswold. And it sounds like it was Robin and Carderock that were going inside the tavern along with Mateos, the wagon driver. I got that right? Okay.
Yeah, quick question. Card, what's your alignment? Are you lawful good?
No. I am, as a matter of fact, chaotic good.
Okay, good. Okay. I
seems a little meta.
You don't need to worry about whatever it is you're about to worry about.
So you all chatting with Mateos walk up some wooden stairs and enter into High Feather, which is a 3-story tavern. Oh, wow. The upper stories are actually bigger floors, wider floors. A nice place, dark stained woods. There's a nice big roaring hearth and a mounted boar's head over the top. While you come in here, you're not even sure if anyone's here at all. Like, there's no one drinking. There's no one, that is by. There's no one that is attending the place. So you just kind of come inside, and you're waiting around, wondering, And Mateos says, maybe we've come here a bit early. I don't know.
And so
this is odd.
I said, "Behold her, but I hardly know her." Yes, Mateos. I do not see where the townsfolk have gone.
I'm gonna nudge Card and be like, I think they might be a little bit afraid of you.
A woman's voice comes shouting from behind a door, just a basic wooden door at the other side of the room. Hello!
Hello?
Hello there.
Just one moment. You hear a sound of, I don't know, pots and pans banging. There's some noise back there. Okay, well, I guess we're not here alone after all. And Mateos kind of sits himself down in a chair. Pretty nice chair, so the furniture here is pretty good. And then a woman comes out. She's, you'd put her to be like in her late 30s, maybe. She has brown hair, pulled back, thick boned woman. Yeah. She's wearing a leather apron over sort of, what would you say? I don't want to call it a gown because that sounds too nice, but it is pretty good quality clothing. She comes out. She seems pretty much in a hurry, and she's like setting the tables while she's talking to you. Oh, welcome. You're here a bit early, aren't you?
Well, who said that we can't drink in the morning?
Yes, you are a tavern, are you not?
What did you think this was? A whorehouse?
Well, I didn't, but perhaps my...
She's setting tables, setting down cups, platters, spoons.
I'm going to ask her, Madam, where is everyone?
What do you mean?
Seems a bit empty in here for a tavern as big as yours.
Yeah, it's morning time. Everyone's working. Everyone's got stuff to do. I'm setting up for the lunch.
Fair enough.
Can I help you with anything?
Parts.
I think Card has something. What did you say?
You do not get many travelers here.
No, I'm afraid we don't. But why is that? Well, let's see. You go out of this town, you're going to find hills, forest, badland, orcs. I don't know why anyone would want to come to this forsaken spit of a town.
Well, I've always heard that orcs love to drink.
I've heard that they love to drink ale and wine that has been spiked with the blood of their enemies they've slaughtered.
By the hells. Sounds revolting. All metallic and irony. Ugh.
Yep. See the boar up there on the wall? That was the companion of an orc. We didn't want to mount his head up, though. She finishes setting all the tables, and she's just kind of busily goes back behind that door. Mateos is sitting there tapping his fingers on a tabletop.
I'm going to look at Mateus. Be like, so Mateus, what would you like to order? My pleasure. My treat.
Well, I'll take a goblet of the finest wine they have in here.
God.
And whatever she's cooking, a big plate of that. And, well, I think I'll take 2 plates.
Very well. And I'll wait till she comes back to get him his fancy food.
You're waiting for quite a while, and you're starting to wonder if she's ever going to come back. And then she pokes her head like out from the door. You're still here? I'm getting ready for lunch. I mean, you can come back in a couple of hours.
Will it be more busy at that time?
Are you looking for something in particular?
Oh, no. I just enjoy a good party.
Oh, well, I can't promise any parties, but there's going to be food.
All right. Perhaps we should come back later, Card.
Yes, perhaps we shall.
Okay, well, I got to get ready. We're gonna have the whole lot hungry, needing fuel to keep working through their day. So I'll see you soon. Thank you.
When food is served and tales are told, we shall return.
Yes, well, that'll be fine. Just scrape off your boots next time before you come in.
I apologize. All right, guys.
Mateos says, okay, well, I guess we'll come back then. I'm pretty hungry now, though. Could we maybe find somewhere else to get something to eat? The inn next door.
I believe that's okay. Let's go to the inn.
All right, so you go over to the building adjacent, which is called Candle Lodge. This is an even nicer furnished building that you're entering into. It is 4 stories high. Like 2 steep peaks form its roof, dark shingles atop it, dark shutters. The cross beams are all stained in like a deep mahogany. Inside, the place has a nice warmth to it, and they indeed have candles hanging in glass lanterns everywhere in all the different rooms, giving it a nice warm glow. There's a soft murmur of chatting as you enter in. You can, hear people that are in a back room. You hear someone talking to someone else, like through their own personal room that they've rented out. They've got the door cracked open. There's 2 individuals speaking as you enter in. There is a man and a woman. They're both very tall, very, very tall people, over 6 feet tall.
Are they human?
Very pale skin. Their hair is done up nicely, but it's a light colored hair, like a very light blonde, like a platinum kind of blonde. Very nicely done, well kempt, nice clothes on, in a fine gown and a fine tunic, sash, belt, boots, gloves, some jewelry, fair eyes as well. They greet you. They kind of cut their conversation short and greet you 3 as you come in. Welcome, 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 welcome. He takes out a sort of, ledger with some parchment on it and then a quill. Oh, no, that's tomorrow. I wasn't expecting you all. Did you send a page?
No, we've actually just arrived in the city or the town.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to Ravenswold. Are you needing rooms?
I look at Card and Matthias and sort of like implying, like, do we want to stay here the night?
Yes, I'm going to need a room. I'm also pretty hungry. Could I get something to eat? Of course, of course. Just 1 room for the 3 of you.
I believe.
Well, Robin, to discuss something we have at an earlier point, you do know that I am not in fact constructed of money. So, if you have the coin for separate rooms and are willing to shell it out, do be my guest.
I'm just gonna sort of like look at you, just glare at you a bit, and then look back and say, "Of course." And then I'll pay for the rooms. But I will say this: as I pull out the money for, I'm gonna say, perhaps though we could have 2 rooms. I think Matthias and I could get a room together. Card, you can have your own room, just to make it a little cheaper.
Very well. We would ask of you 2 gold pieces for the rooms, and we'll get the breakfast served immediately.
Does the breakfast come with the rooms?
Yes, we serve 3 meals a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. It is a bit late, but it's no trouble. We'd be happy to furnish you with some victuals.
Fantastic. And your inn, I must say, is flawless. And then I'll pay the 2 gold.
Many thanks. Thank you. He collects the 2 gold coins. He collects the 2 gold coins from you. In your names?
Well, I am Robin. This is Matthias. And this is Carderock.
Sir Carderock Harkness at your service.
Oh, are you a knight?
Yes, does that give us a discount?
I would love to give you such a discount. We're honored to have a knight here.
If anything, we can jack up the price because he knows a knight can pay.
I'm going to interrupt and say, but surely having a trained knight, someone as valiant as him, would be fantastic for business. You could tell your friends that you are serving a knight, and I think that would offer a discount for ourselves. Perhaps his room for free.
You are a glib and silver-tongued fellow. Are you his jester?
In a manner of speaking.
I'm sure he occupies your hours of drudgery spent on the road with much mirth.
Yes. He does indeed occupy my hours of mirth spent on the road with drudgery, I say. Quite.
And you all are from Grenadoa, is that correct? I am this tuner.
We are simply mere travelers.
Of course. Well, I hope that you've had safe travels, or at least less dangerous travels. I don't know how much safety we have these days.
Of course, with such a valiant knight such as himself, no danger, nothing could harm us.
Not even a sphinx.
Not even a sphinx, Sir Carderock. Hockness, slayer of sphinxes.
Is that actually him stuttering to remember the name?
Actually, it was me, but we can have it be the NPC too.
Oh, can we? Okay. As he sort of messes up the name, I want to just get up and be like, his name is Sir Carderock Hockness, and you should remember it.
But that I will. Shannon here will show you to your rooms, and I'll go get something for you all to eat. Thank you once again for your patronage, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at Candle Lodge. So the man goes along to that back room. The woman who, she might be his sister. They do have some resemblance. Tall. She's a very tall, kind of a gaunt woman. Very, very fair, platinum blonde. She has these icy eyes, a nice, pleasant smile. Come with me. I have just the place for you. She picks up 2 keys and leads you all up a flight of stairs, down a corridor, and gives you each, or I guess gives the 2 keys over to you, opens up the doors, lets you go in first, asks you if everything looks to your liking. The rooms are small but well appointed and with nice locking heavy doors.
Wow, I better get good rooms for 2 gold pieces.
They each have a pitcher with wine ready to serve in them.
Yeah, I'll take them, and I'll take them, and then sort of pour Matthias a drink and hand it to him.
Yeah, he's got his cup. He takes a big swig, tops it off, and he just goes back walking down the hallway with his cup in hand, back downstairs, has a seat in the commons room there, and waits on the original guy to come and serve. Yep. So let's pause that, your scene, as you all are you're eating a bit there, mainly Mateos, and let's go to see who would be next then. I guess it would be Drake. Drake, you walk up to the old temple. So
I believe Noxiqual is also with him.
Yeah, Noxiqual is also with him.
Nox, did you go with Drake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Lykar, what about you?
Lykar is going to the magic shop.
Okay, so Lykar's one who's gone a bit farther. Okay, so Drake and Noxiqual. You've both seen temples reminiscent of this architecture before. It's the classic temple architecture of the prior era and the prior era before that. Nox, you have seen it at Ambrosia Temple, and as well Omen Mox, but it was ruined. And then Drake, you saw it at your own temple that you grew up at, temple and monastery of Seagate. Now, stone columns. There's stairs going up to this big stony landing. Columns, a roof that is steeped like that. Embossment of religious iconography. There's a big open, what would be typically the shrine. There's an altar out front of the temple. And then inside the shrine, there were these daises where there once were statues of gods. The temple is in disrepair. It's overgrown with weeds. A lot of the weeds are died off now, but the vines are still growing here in the wintertime. And you see people just ne'er-do-wells, drinking, throwing dice, laughing, making a rude conversation, and telling lewd jokes.
From what Drake can see, does he have an idea of who was worshipped at this temple?
You look around, and previously this temple had a pantheon of 4. Sortiza, the weaver, goddess of fate and the sea. Dionysus, the fury, god of battle and storms. Ilus, the lantern, god of light and knowledge. And Morpheus, the dreamer, god of dreams and healing.
Drake's going to turn to Noxiqual at this point. They must be removed.
Why?
This one will not let them disrespect the Temple of Dionysus.
It's just a building, though. This house has... You surely must admit that this house has not seen a worshiper in many, many years.
This one agrees. But this one still believes respect should be given to it.
I mean, the gods are not here, though. They do not live here. Other temples, perhaps, in the land you come from, they live there, but this is simply a stone building. I mean, we could throw these people out, but what will that accomplish?
Drake's going to go silent for a minute while he thinks on your words and just look around at everything, and then he's
there's a group of people that are gawking at you all. Like one guy's like, he's got his wine, is like this ratty wine skin, like he's had it his whole life, and his mouth's like hanging open and like a little drool's coming out, and a couple other guys are just like gawking your way, like, who are these people?
It would be a simple matter for the two of us to make them leave, but are you going to stay here and dedicate yourself to this place?
This one still has an oath to keep, so this one could not stay.
Indeed.
Two younger guys that are in another corner. One of them just kind of like cackles, not at you all, but whatever conversation they have. And the other one starts boasting or something. He's just like, like boasting about how he would, shoot anyone down in the street that disrespected him or tried to lay claim to his territory.
Not to mention, I believe their worship here is of a certain queen, perhaps Raven,
So on that note, Drake, as you were looking around for some details in this temple, because the actual statues they're not here, but you got indications from the embossments or the bas reliefs rather, lining the upper parts of the ceiling at the tops of the columns, and you've looked at all these scenes and these icons. You did not see anything that indicated the Raven Queen. Only the 4 that I mentioned.
This one believes the queen came later.
Oh, I don't disagree.
She does not seem to be original. Yeah. Perhaps her cult forced them out?
I'll put it to you this way. If you come in here and start speaking of something that the people don't believe in, it may conflict with their own beliefs and cause a problem. You can't force people to change their beliefs.
We don't worship the Mare Queen!
Who said that?
The group of 3 that are the closest ones to you, the ones that are gawking at you. There's a guy who's like, he's crouched down. He's not sitting, but he's all like crouched down like that, and with a ratty wineskin.
I wasn't talking to you, I say to him.
Yeah, well, good thing.
Oh, I'm so tempted right now. But no, not gonna start shit. Not over something so small. Drake, this place, there's nothing to be had here. I think that we should leave.
This one regretfully agrees.
I just kind of give you like one squeeze on the shoulder and then kind of lead you out.
Drake falls out and he throws one last glance around. It just like pretty much gives a stink eye to everyone in there.
And he'll come back later tonight to murder them all.
Exactly.
And you will know my name is the Lord. All right.
Well, of course, he's going to activate the ring in disguise and just let one person get away.
Well, Drake, make sure you wear a mask when you murder people.
He's going to hold up the ring, the ring of disguise that he's got, and nods.
Yeah, that was not in character.
I know. You're messing around.
All right, so the two of you leave the temple, a place that once was a holy location, a sacred site, but has now fallen into abandonment and a veritable mockery of what it once was. We're going to go to Lykar, but can you indicate to me where you're going from this old temple?
I would suggest Drake go to Lykar. Like, honestly, I kind of wanted to go with Lykar, but I went with Drake.
Yeah, we'll go find Lykar.
Okay, so you'll meet up with Lykar in just a bit. Lykar, you have gone down the street. You've passed by Candle Lodge, the inn, High Feather, the tavern. You also pass by a brothel, which is called Flirt Fang. And there's like a sexy vampire girl painted onto a placard out front. And you get all the way down this road of just like building after building after building, house after house after house. And at the end, you come to the Well of Nevermore. It almost reminds you of a second, smaller town square. It's circular shaped, a small plaza. And you see there is a well, but it is different. It's like a wishing well. There is 2 concentric rings, an outer wider ring and a smaller, higher raised up ring. There is water flowing from it. There is the image in bas relief of fish. Really, they're 3-dimensional, so maybe it's not bas relief. It's actually sculpted fish. Their heads kind of protruding out of these 2 rings of the well, and the water's like flowing out of their mouths. There's something slightly sinister about these fish faces. They're not just like regular fish or happy fish. They have this, I don't know, you've seen monsters before. They look slightly monstrous. They don't look like, they don't look like little happy fishies. But there are copper coins and other little trinkets of very minor worth that have been tossed into this wishing well. And indeed, you do see a group of 3 little boys, and they're kind of like joking, but also saying, kind of daring each other. And one of them flicks a coin into the well. And you're supposed to turn right here and go down to the end of the lane where there's going to be this magic shop.
Okay, is there anybody around that I could talk to?
Other than the 3 children, yes. You see a group of 2 men that are working on a building. You see a group of 3 women that they're bringing some bundles with them. You also see a pair of 2 town guardsmen just walking their rounds. They're all nearby.
I'll stop the town guardsman and just, hey, can you tell me a little bit about this well? Its design is very curious.
Ah, yes. The Well of Nevermore. This here is homage to the Deep Drinker.
Would I know who the Deep Drinker is?
You've heard of the Deep Drinker before. He is a great entity, old even, this one, who is said to lurk at the depths below the waves. A powerful being.
Very interesting. Has this well always been here?
No. It was built, well, it was built before I was born, but I think it was built during my father's time. Also, make a religion check.
Okay. I don't think looking at my stats is going to help that much. 9.
Okay. So you don't have any other knowledge about Deep Drinker other than what I've already told you, which is just a cursory understanding that almost anybody would know in the land. All right.
Okay.
So you're still speaking with the 2 guards. They are, let's see, they just have some basic mail on, helmet, winter coat. They got some warm gloves on. They've got spears, shields, a short sword and a scabbard, some heavy boots.
Okay, well, I think for the moment I'm just going to keep the well in mind, and I'm going to continue on my way. Wish them a good day.
Good day to you as well, sir.
Thank you for the information.
You pass by the well, and one of the boys says, "Are you an elf?"
Maybe.
He gets a little nervous when you turn around, and the other boys kind of look at him, and he said, "Were you born in the forest?
Maybe.
Do you have magic power?
Maybe.
Can you show me?"
No.
Do you live forever?
Maybe.
How old are you?
I don't even know how old am I?
Old enough to have forgotten.
I didn't write it down, I guess.
Oh, snap.
Didn't I write it down? Age 49. Almost half a century. Do you have any other questions?
The boys kind of look at each other and they're like, "Wow." It doesn't seem they quite understood what that meant, but it seems to have impressed them. If you throw coin, if you throw money into the well and you make a wish, Deep Drinker makes it come true.
I will give them each like a copper piece and tell them to go make a wish and then be on my way.
All right, you go on your way. As you're walking away, you hear them all wishing that they want to go to the secret playground like Tommy did.
Oh.
They flick their coins in.
Okay, I kind of watch over my shoulder as the coins hit the water.
Yep, they make little splashes when they go in the water, and stony fish faces are scowling out and like a orb-eyed, maniacal grimaces and almost a slight glee. Sinister-looking fish, these.
Do the little kids don't disappear or anything, do they?
They do not disappear before your eyes, no.
Okay, because that would have caught my attention a little more.
All right, so the little kids, they're chatting amongst themselves. You continue on down the lane past these kind of dark, almost steeple-topped buildings, lurching things they are. Almost feels like they're bearing down upon you as you kind of go down the cobblestoned hill to the end of the lane, where you find tucked into a corner, you have to kind of like shimmy around the side to even notice it, is a shop called the Frosted Antler. And over the head of the shop is a mounted giant elk whose antlers have been painted a frosty blue.
Reminds me of a giant elk I once knew.
Okay,
if it's open, I'll try and go in.
Yeah, you go to open the door, and the door is locked. It's a pretty secure-looking door. But someone does answer through the elk. You hear a voice. Now, the elk's mouth isn't moving, but you hear a voice, probably through magic, speaking. "Hello there. Can I help you?"
Oh, greetings there. I was wondering if I may peruse your shop to see if there is anything of interest that I may be purchasing.
Oh? Well, there's many interesting things to see here. What is your name, if I may ask?
My name is Lykar. What is your name, if I may ask?
My name is Elgar. This is my emporium, Frosted Antler. I'm not really too keen on people poking around here, but you seem like you might be the kind of person that knows what to do with mystical wares.
I may very well be that person, and I'll
you are a mage, yes?
Flick a little like lightning up in the air, just like a.
Aha. Yeah, okay. What is the most potent spell that you can cast?
Well, I have many potent spells for many different.
Personal question.
Oh. For example?
Let's just say I can make bad things happen if I wish.
Well, if you want inside, you're going to have to tell me something more specific. I don't mean to be rude, but I've had problems in the past, and, well, I would rather be left alone than invite the wrong people inside.
Just cast Fireball right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm not asking you to cast spells there in the street. Just tell me, what is the greatest magic you can invoke at your command?
I have the power over the elements.
Well,
I'll make it like real windy real quick because I can control wind around me.
All right, so you make the wind gust and whip, and he says, so I'm getting the sense that you don't actually know any powerful spells.
I could let myself in if you'd like.
Oh, I doubt that.
I don't.
You hear a woman's voice. Who is that out there? No, it's okay. It's under control.
I'm getting a Miracle Max kind of vibe.
Well, I'm sorry that my rules were overbearing. Have a good day, sir.
And about that time is when
Noxiqual and Drake happen by and see Lykar talking with a mounted giant elk head.
Yeah.
Lykar, how's it going? We finished our business at the temple quicker than we expected.
Well, did you find out anything interesting?
Not much, but what have you finished looking at the shop?
I haven't started yet. Remind me before we leave again, we need to talk about that fountain back there. But we're going to go into this shop here and pay a visit here.
Oh, okay. I walk up to the door. Yeah.
I'll cast... I think I'm just going to cast Knock on the door. Open the door.
You're breaking into his shop.
Well, I'm walking in the front door.
Against his wishes, which is breaking and entering.
All right, you cast your knock spell. Boom! The door does nothing.
I mean, is it really breaking and entering? It seems to me it's more like magicking and entering.
Magicking and
technically, yes.
Lykar, there was no effect.
I don't think it matters. It's still breaking and entering.
Exactly. Why are you casting a spell on the door, Lykar?
Because he wouldn't let me in.
Really? I'll walk over and I'll just knock on the door regular. Be like, hello?
A voice emanates from the mounted giant elk's head. Oh, now there are more of you. Hello, I'm Elgar, and, well, I live here.
Okay. I am Captain Noxiqual, and this is my friend Drake Fell and Lykar.
Captain Noxiqual. Okay, well, good to meet you. How can I help you?
I was hoping that we might be able to look at some fine magical wares, and we heard your shop was the best in town. Would it be all right if we came inside and took a look?
Well, it might be. I don't just let anyone in here. I'm very private and I'm very protective. I've had some problems in the past with people, including adventurers. What persuasion of mage are you?
I use shadow magic.
Oh, great. You're one of those. Well, Ravenswold should be a nice place for you to stay at for a while.
May I offer something to exchange a collateral of sorts so that we may enter and investigate the wares that you have?
What is the most powerful spell you are personally capable of wielding?
That's a personal question.
This is my house where I personally live.
Could I just have your word that if we enter here, you will not attack or offer any sort of aggression towards us if we accept your rules and follow them?
Do you make me that same promise?
I can make you that same promise.
That sounds perfectly agreeable to me. I promise I will not harm you or otherwise molest you and your companions if you do the same, offer the same courtesy towards me and my own.
I look back at Drake and Lykar. Do you both agree to these terms?
This one has no problems with those terms.
I just wanted to do a little shopping.
Lykar, just agree to the terms then.
I agree.
Excellent. My most powerful magic, I can cast many spells, but let's see. I know a spell that will allow me to open a shadowy gateway and teleport myself to another place within, trying to think how to say 500 feet without saying 500 feet exactly.
A great distance.
A distance I can see.
A bow shot.
Arrows. Yes, a bow shot. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yep.
Dimension door?
Some call it that.
Well, then why don't you just use that to bring you and your friends inside, huh? If you're so capable.
I would not intrude on a man's home, such that is rude. I would rather be invited in as a guest.
Very well, very well. And your companions, they wield similar levels of magic. One would say the 4th tier in the as codified by the Silver Citadel.
Lykar may be slightly more powerful than me, but about the same, yes.
And you, Drake, are you a shadow binder as well?
This one practicing the way of shadows.
Very well, very well. Just one moment. You hear a clicking sound. The big mounted elk's head opens. It swings open like that, and stairs come down from a second story.
Watch him be a gnome.
It's got to be a gnome.
A gnome riding on an owlbear. No.
Oh.
There is a graying man wearing a robe, and the threadwork of this robe makes it appear as though it has eyes in every direction. He looks down and he says, "Okay, well, you're not from Dragon's Den, so come on."
I will take the lead. Let's see.
I am Elgar. This is my wife, Vivian. Hello.
Pleasure to meet you.
Good day to both of you.
Drake gives him a bow of greetings.
So, you ascend up into the Frosted Antler Magic Emporium. Elgar retracts the wooden stairs and shuts and seals the door behind you all. There is he himself and his wife is wearing an elegant silk gown with mystical patterns across the bodice, the sleeves, even the skirt. She also has an interesting looking necklace about her. She's wearing an interesting looking necklace. It has an opal pendant. As well, you see there is on one end of the room there's this kind of a metallic raven's claw holding a sort of crystal. And then at the other end, actually close to where you just walked in at, there's this big perch, like a little stony ledge thing that juts out higher above. And there is a creature perched there. And you've seen this creature before, Lykar and Noxiqual. It has a roughly hound-looking shape to it, but no eyes. A big gaping maw, reddish, muscly skin, has a spiked collar on. It's like some strange, fiendish guard dog thing.
Oh, yeah, we ran into it at the method lair, right?
Yeah, it was an old vault.
Yep.
Otherwise, the place has bookshelves, tables, and racks and cabinets, assortments of baubles and arcane components. You see there's another flight of stairs going up. You also see there's a shut door.
Thank you for allowing us into your home, Elgar. I can see that you have many arcane objects and such here.
I've been collecting things for a long time. She as well. Yes, once you get locked into a good magic collection, the tendency is to take it as far as you possibly can.
I see. Well, I only have paltry items, but I would be quite interested if you were willing to show us what items you were willing to offer for sale.
Well, I have a number of different things. He starts showing you different, scroll racks and spell component containers. He lists a few things. Does anyone have any specific items that you're looking for?
Ring of spell storing. Forever.
A wonderful thing that is. Ring of spell storing, is that a rare or very rare?
Let's find out. I don't recall. I think it's just rare, but I'll find out. So, is just rare. Requires attunement.
Okay. He says, "Oh, but I wish I did have one of those."
It is a highly valued object. I'm sure I will find one day.
Yes, I would like one too. My son, I think, was looking for one as well.
Oh, I believe someone mentioned his name when we were asking the way to your shop.
Yes, Torvili.
Torvili, that was it.
Have you heard of Enigmas of Ambition?
No.
Okay. This is his company.
Oh.
His party.
His party. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Is he an adventurer then, your son?
Oh, yes. He gets it from his mom. Well, so that I don't like to go traipsing around in haunted caverns where I might die.
Yes, there's always risk to any venture, but there's great reward, as you well know.
If there was no risk, there would be no adventure. As they say, no great tale ever started with a bunch of people eating salad in a tavern.
Lykar, is there anything you're looking for?
Perhaps any rings or necklaces that would offer additional protection from various
fire?
forms of harm. Perhaps. What do you have exactly?
He tells you that he has in his possession 3 rings. Wait here. He goes through that door that I mentioned and comes back a moment later. He has a box. He opens it up. Inside there are 3 rings. The first one, he says, this is a ring of protection. It is a general defensive purpose. You are probably familiar with it. The second here is a ring of shielding against necrosis. It will offer you resistance against attacks that rot the flesh and wither the soul. And the last is a ring of protection against thunder. You, I believe, are able to conjure such elements. Maybe you already have such resistance. If not, it would afford you so. And he names a price of, I believe, 2,000 gold apiece.
Oh, golly.
Do you need a little help with that?
No, I'm just not sure I want to part with that much coin for a ring at this time.
Mm-hmm. The ring of protection seems fairly useful to anyone.
Actually, 1,000 gold each.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's half. I have a coupon.
I've heard that one before. I don't make coupons.
Drake,
But you do honor them.
Drake, with a very exaggerated hand motions showing that he's doing it as a joke, creates a sheet with half off on it.
Using
as a joke
illusion?
with minor illusion. Just he's doing it so they can see that he's doing it as a joke.
Elgar does not find that to be funny. However, Vivian is amused by it. When she laughs, her little frizzes of curly hair kind of jiggle back and forth.
Oh, it's just a joke. Lighten up, Elgar.
Well,
Is there any work, perhaps, that you might consider even for a discount? Anything that you need done that requires men of our skill? Just as a thought. Not saying that we'll take you up on it, but perhaps an arrangement could be made.
Well, nothing that I would want to involve anyone else in. Nothing I would want to involve anyone else with.
That's fair.
very well. I'm trying to see how much money I have.
He mentioned something about trouble with the Dragon's Den.
Oh, yes.
That he seems not wanting to get further entangled in that mess.
I kind of meet my eye with Vivian as he says that to kind of like, is that so, you know? Just without actually saying those words.
She gives a nod.
All right. If he doesn't want to open up about it, I'm not going to press him too hard at this moment.
Oh, I didn't know he spoke lizard folk. Interesting.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you all are looking for here?
Drake actually has a question.
Potions.
He has a question for him. He's going to pull out the boots with wings on them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, sell those.
I'm tempted to do that. But he wants to know if they can point to the origin of them, because he's already heard from the Hague that they came from the playground. He wants to know if that's true or not.
Oh, very interesting indeed. So he does recognize the boots. Where did you get those?
Drake's going to look to Noxiqual for that one because he's not sure on how to answer that.
There
was a companion of ours had them who meant an untimely end.
2 companions, but the original owner, to my knowledge, was a Mossbeard druid who went by the name of Avery. That's right.
Aubrey. Drake's just going to say Aubrey.
Avery? Why does that sound familiar to me?
He's the one that gave you the great elk head.
Oh, yes, he was that one.
One
you
that gave
knew Avery?
Yes, new past tense.
Yes, he has unfortunately gave his life in a battle far to the north in the swamplands.
Yes.
Thus I make my case. I'm content to stay here where it is safe in my own home, in my own city, and not go getting myself killed in underground labyrinths. So, winged boots, that is interesting. There is supposedly a secret location that has special appeal to children. In fact, some children have gone missing from Ravenswold. And many kids can tell you of the wonderful secret playground where children do not have to listen to their parents anymore, and they get to go and have fun all day, every day. It's not known who created this place, where it's at, what their ultimate purpose is, but it is said that whoever is the leader or authority there makes the winged boots. It is also said that when you say the password, the winged boots take you back to the secret playground.
Does the salesman perhaps know the password?
I perhaps do not. Are you looking to sell those? I would buy them from you.
This one would be interested in a price.
What would you say to 500 gold pieces?
This one would say a little bit more.
700.
750.
Deal.
All right. Drake hands over the bits.
Oh, that looks lovely. Vivian takes those. And Elgar counts out. He counts out some coins, and then he says, "Can I pay you in part pearls?" Very well. Here you are. So he pays you 450 gold coins worth, and 3 pearls, each worth 100 gold pieces each.
50 gold. Okay, I'm writing this down. And
Vivian is a bit sad to see the pearls go. I like those.
I have
These need a bit of repairing. What happened here? Did someone land in the fire?
Drake's gonna look at Lykar for that one.
Let me guess. The grumpy sorcerer did it.
Maybe.
I have a request, an odd one perhaps, but perhaps you might have it here.
Okay, I'm all ears. Yes.
This is not particularly, it's not a rare item, but I do need a quantity of them. Cap of water breathing.
I sold all of them. I used to have 3. I sold them to the cult of Deep Drinker.
Damn. I was hoping that you might have a few since they're not particularly uncommon.
You might speak with the cult. They might sell them to you. I don't know. They didn't tell me specifically what they were using them for.
Perhaps we
Where
can
would one find them? Yeah, go ahead, Lykar.
I was going to say, perhaps we could convince them to let us borrow them for a little while.
You have a Cloak of the Manta Ray.
Is that uncommon?
It's also uncommon.
I'm afraid I do not.
Oh, that is the 2 items I know of that might serve that function.
Mariner's armor.
What's that?
do have a potion that removes warts, and I mean any kind of warts.
Wow.
Drake's gonna look and go, Robin?
We may have to send Robin back here at some point.
Out of character, the ring of protection, that's a +1 ring.
+1 ring of protection. You'll have +1 to AC and all saving throws.
Oh,
Yeah, I
did
think
not know that. I'm glad I do now because I have one.
Gonna drop the money on that, Lykar?
Yeah, I have 3670 wrote down. I'm guessing that's how much money I have.
3670. Okay, that's a lot.
Drake's gonna hand over. If you tell us that you're short, Drake's gonna hand over the pearls to you to help pay for them.
I mean, he's not short. He's got.
I'm thinking that's how much money I have because I know when we went through all this treasure from the big battle and a couple other ones, they kind of divided it all up, and I wrote 3670, so I should probably keep better track of how much money I have.
I mean, that's definitely the money that we all have. Like that, it sounds like a large amount. I've only got 500 some. So.
Oh, I now technically have 750 plus change.
I don't know.
Here you are. May this ring protect you in all your moments of danger, which I'm sure there will be many.
Or maybe that's everybody's goal total.
Well, I know the party had 1,000 gold, but I don't know what we did with that.
Take it out of that money and reduce that number so that we don't, it's fine. Does he have a Rod of the Pact Keeper of a higher level than the one I have? Out of curiosity. I have the +1 Rod of the Pact Keeper.
Wait, here. I have something you might be interested in seeing. He comes once again back from that other room, and he brings this time something wrapped in a silk. And when he unravels it, that creature up on the perch starts to kind of like lip its lips, and it drools a little bit, and that crystal even pulses with a soft glow. And there is what looks like a long shaft that ends in it looks real. It ends in like a raven's claw with like the one talon pointing out like that.
Ooh.
Inspect it if you would like. But this is of the 2nd tier of enchantment.
I will inspect that. Does it seem similar to my rod but stronger?
Indeed it does.
Esper, real quickly, so did Drake help pay for the ring or not?
No, Lykar took it out of the 3,600 he had.
Okay. Right.
I will I would be willing to buy this, and tell me what is the price.
3,000 gold pieces, my good man.
That is quite expensive. It is an item which is not useful to most mages, to my understanding. It's a specialty item, even.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you are most correct on that.
Do you always make the price so high for all your customers when you think that they have need of such an item?
Oh, I understand you want me to charge you less, and I'm not going to. This is a wonderful thing.
Truly.
Vivian says, ugly thing? You wouldn't see me carrying that around.
Tell me this. What makes it so wonderful? I would hear it from your own lips. The powers that this object makes it worth 3,000 gold.
Every single eldritch blast that you will ever cast from this will be more likely to strike its foe down.
Really?
That's why you want it, isn't it?
I can tell you this has no effect on my eldritch blasts. If, well. I'm like... I'm trying to think how.
Is it not +2 to spell attacks and saving
throws? It is. Yeah. It is. I'm just like the price for this object that you are pricing it as is far too high. I would pay you 1,000 for it.
Well, perhaps we can do business again some other time.
Perhaps I could help you with some of your troubles and then come back.
I have had problems with the Dragon's Den for some time, but as I said, it would be best for you not to get entangled with that. They are long-standing group of criminal syndicate, really, led by a half-dragon. And they are very vindictive. If you fight them, they're going to remember it forever. And they will come after you. They'll send someone after you or your family or your friends.
I don't have any friends.
I will put it this way.
I'm
I
alone
have
in this world, carving my way one town at a time. I know no one, came from nowhere, care about nothing.
I have a reputation myself, though I don't know if you are familiar with it.
I am not. I guess I didn't roll for Vivian. Maybe she's heard of you.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay. We keep to ourselves, so private people, really.
Have you ever heard of the Swamp Queen of the swamps up north?
Densmorris.
Densmorris, yes.
Oh, yes. The old dwarven cult leader or witch or something out in the swamps.
Yes, powerful. As she was, she fell to my blade in single combat.
Elgar and Vivian give each other a look. Well, I guess it's a good thing I believed you when you said you could cast Dimension Door.
Well, let's just say that...
Well, one last mad witch out there in the world, that's fine with me.
If you value that object so highly, I have one of my own. I take out my rod, which is not like a raven's claw at the end, but it has probably sort of a onyx-like crystal substance at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's more basic than theirs. And I say, would you be willing to trade these two, and perhaps we could look in and talk to the syndicate on your behalf?
I would rather not even hear their name again for the rest of my life.
I
think if anything ever happens to them, they're going to assume I was involved with it and I sent the person.
How about we leave you completely out of it? But if something should happen to them, accidents happen. They may have other concerns than your own affairs.
Your intention, I think, is a good one, and you have that spirit that all adventurers have, and I know that you think you can do something and kill someone and help, and I'm just saying, I don't want anything. If you can just make them blink out of existence altogether, that would be great, but that's not going to happen.
Not today, no.
Take their lair and have it teleported into the rectum of the 9 hells. If you can do that, I would be perfectly happy. But I don't want you going there and fighting them and getting all tangled up in their web.
Let's table that for now then. But 1,000 gold in this rod for your rod.
Respectfully, I must decline. May I have the rod back, please?
I hand it back to him.
He wraps it up with the silk. Maybe another day we could do business.
Perhaps. I turn and I say, are we ready to go?
This one is ready.
All right.
Say a most excellent shop you have here. We look forward to maybe doing business with you in the future.
Well, you'll be welcome back again. Thank you very much for your understanding and for your time, and don't get yourselves killed. If you see my son out there on your adventures, give him my best regards.
Absolutely.
This one shall.
They see you to the door. They open it up. The stairs unravel or unfurl again, and thus concludes the dealing at Frosted Antler. So back with Carderock and Mateus and Robin, you all are eating a hearty lunch, and there's like roasted boar and corn mash and an assortment of boiled vegetables and sugared plums and a lot of ale and a lot of wine and fresh baked bread and delicious salted butter. and the whole place is just like thronged. Luckily, you came early, so you found a place to sit because some people are having to just stand. It's like all of the workers of the whole city who aren't just like a basic, unskilled laborer. If you're not like a basic miner, anyone who has any slight amount of profession or what's it called? Trade skill, they all eat lunch there. So the place is just jam-packed. And what was her name? It was Wyona, and she has a couple serving, some other barmaids there to help serve, and they're busying themselves running about, and you all are stuffing your faces, and it's pretty delicious. Robin, did you make good on your offer to buy Mateos 2 plates?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right. So go ahead and spend, I don't know, per person, like 5 copper pieces.
It's just for me, Mateos, not Carderock.
And Mateos is like, oh, yeah, it's good. He's just like stuffing his face.
What time of day is it right now? Like midday?
It's afternoon.
Okay. I'm guessing like the drinking and stuff generally happens like later on, like at like 9 p.m. or so, like in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. While Mateus is like eating his food and whatnot, I'm gonna just sort of like slap him on the back happily and be like, Mateus, later tonight, would you like to maybe go drink with me? I've been planning on maybe getting a little drunk tonight. We've been adventuring and traveling so much. I think it'd be nice to take a load off.
He wipes boar grease off his mouth. Yeah. Sounds good.
Fantastic. How are you doing, Card? Do you enjoy the meal that you actually had to pay for this time?
Yes, I am quite. My coin did buy fine food, prepared well by, what did you say her name was again?
Wyona.
By Wyona. My deepest compliments to her and her cooking skill, and perhaps the army of trained gnomes that she has in her employ to produce it on such a large scale.
Ah, she is a kitchen wizard, says a guy sitting next to you, chowing down.
I say, oh, do you come here often?
Often as I can. It's the best food in Ravenswold.
It is quite delicious, I must say. Who am I talking to, by the way? What does he look like?
A guy you've never seen before. He just happened to turn around because he overheard the comment.
Okay.
He's sitting at the table next to you.
Gotcha. So you said that like a lot of traders and people like that come into this area?
Skilled laborers, tradesmen, merchants, businessmen. Just, not the unskilled people.
Okay.
There's not like farmhands and mine workers here.
Does anyone look as though they might be like somewhat of like a merchant that may sell things, or maybe perhaps like a blacksmith or something of that nature?
Sure. Yes. You can spot artisans and traders and such.
Okay. Are any of them sitting by themselves, or are they all sort of like within groups?
You do see one fellow. He is a middle-aged fellow, pudgy, and he's by himself. He was actually there when you got there, and he's at like a corner table, and he's finishing. He's like cleaning up his plate now, and he seems lost in thought.
Is he like a dwarf, a gnome, a human?
Human.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to sort of grab an ale, 2 ales, or actually, well, for me, I'll get I'll have like a wine, like a nice fine wine, and then I'll have an ale for him. I'll walk over to him and plop an ale down and sit there and be like, I noticed that you were here when we first got here. You're sitting all by yourself. I thought I might give you some company.
Oh, hi. I'm Corwin. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'll reach my hand out to sort of clasp
Sure.
his wrist.
There's actually no open chair. Well, I guess you could swing your chair over. The one you were sitting on.
Pull my chair over.
Yeah, so you bring your chair over, and he seems a little fidgety, kind of a nervous guy. He really won't look you in the eye for very long.
Oh, I'll put the ale down in front of him and say, "Here, have a drink on me."
Oh, thank you. What? Why do I have this honor?
Well, you seemed like you were by yourself. I thought I might give you some company. I mean, I've been having a fantastic time in this inn with some of my friends, and I feel like being by yourself might just be a bit boring.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so. That's very kind of you.
Of course. Here, let me introduce. I'm gonna sort of like wave at Card. I would say that over there is Sir Carderock. He's a knight. He is valiant and amazing. And the one over there eating a fantastic meal, his name is Matthias.
So the guy, he doesn't seem to know what to do with himself to be when being presented before a knight. He kind of like starts to stand up, and then he seems kind of nervous to stand up when other people are sitting, and kind of like does a weird bow thing. I'm very pleased to meet you.
I'm gonna chuckle a little bit and say, "Oh, you don't have to do that. Cod is he's not that. I mean, he's a fantastic knight, but I don't think you have to be that honorable for him, right, Cod?"
Yes. What are you going on about over here, Robin?
Oh, we're just talking about you. Don't worry. I'm telling him good things.
Good. Just don't try not to seduce this one.
Seduce him, and I'm gonna like get really close and put my arm around him and say, "I would never." I'm gonna say, "Here, drink your ale. I see you haven't even touched it."
He looks very uncomfortable and a little bit confused. Mateos lets out a large belch, which in Drekengrim is actually a great sign of praise. It's like what you have given me made my stomach so happy. It's roaring like a contented lion.
So as I'm noticing he's getting a little uncomfortable, I'm gonna take my arm off of him and be like, "Sorry, but I'm curious. You seem that you were lost in thought. What was on your mind? If you don't mind me inquiring."
Oh, I don't remember. Make an insight check, if you will. I guess maybe as a DM I shouldn't be telling you these things, but it came out of my mouth. I can't help it.
Oh,
you're the DM. You can do whatever you want. You can take his role and say, "Yeah, no, he forgot it."
I'm gonna use an inspiration to do it because that was a nat one. So
okay.
That's a little better. 13. Not amazing.
Maybe the guy is just not good socially, and he's just a nervous fellow.
Okay.
That's the best you can read into it. I guess Card could do the same as well. You're right there, if you are so inclined.
Card.
Sorry, what was that?
If you are so inclined, you can also make an insight check about this fellow claiming to not remember what he was so pondering.
Sure. Yeah, there's a little bit of interference there. All right. Insight check. That's not great.
We're just both very bad at this.
So I have. Oh, never mind. I forgot that I'm proficient in it. I'm doubly proficient in it because of bard things. So that's 16. Not bad either. Yeah.
So between
you get the sense that something actually is weighing upon this fellow's mind, and he's saying he doesn't remember just because he's not comfortable to talk about it.
Right.
Are you gonna give me an indication that this is like a nonverbal indication that he's like maybe hiding something, or are you gonna keep it to yourself?
Well, how? I don't know how sort of like showy is this whole conversation? How?
Not at all. The guy seems very uncomfortable. He seems polite, but not good at socialization, perhaps.
All right. Card might actually like raise an eyebrow.
Yeah.
Are you interested in trying to get some more information out of him?
Well, Card is most interested in well, if there is any bard actually singing or reading poetry, but especially like, just any sort of other like information that might be going around. All of this, I don't know. This doesn't seem to have anything directly to do with Fainal Dawnin so far as Card knows, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not that you've noticed.
Okay. So he'd be more interested probably in other little bits of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, do we want to skip ahead to a scene with Fainal Dawnin? Is everybody for that?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll just wrap these scenes up. You all mingle. It seems like you're mingling here with the locals of Ravenswold, making some small talk, making your presence known. And maybe we can revisit that again sometime if you want to continue exploring into, rubbing shoulders with the middle class of Ravenswold.
Quick thing though, I do want to make sure because I know that the I keep forgetting her name. The prophet. I know that she's
Fainal.
Fainal. I know that she shows up like right before night, right? Like or around.
I'm just gonna cut it to a scene the next day where it's gonna be early in the day.
Oh, we're gonna go for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I did have something to do then before the next day if possible because I was gonna go drink with Matthias and get him.
Okay, can that go after the scene with Fainal or maybe even next session?
That's fine. Yeah,
absolutely. Just to move things along.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Okay, so this scene takes place the following day. It's early in the day. Hasn't made it to high noon yet. You are gathered in a courtyard that is behind the tavern and the inn. Not a large courtyard. There's a fair amount of people there, though. So you're all grouped fairly close together with what looks to be townsfolk of Ravenswold. And this is going to be like on a sixth day of the week. It's not a working day. So there's quite a bit of people there. And you see all kinds of people. You see people that are dressed very poorly. You see people that seem to be, like these middle-class working tradesfolk. And you do see as well a couple people that have finery on. Of course, the people tend to, group together in their own, like individuals, as people tend to do. But everyone there is real close proximity nonetheless. So Fainal Dawnin comes and sits on a stone bench, and people are kind of in a horseshoe shape. It's just the way this little courtyard allows for. And there's walls all around. There's like a gateway that you came in through. There's some hedges, like evergreen hedges. And she sits on this stone bench. She's an elven woman, a bit older. So she does have the slight indications of wrinkles. Her skin isn't as tight as a young elf's. She has a honey-colored hair, which has just hints of graying in it. It's pulled back. She's wearing a pretty plain-looking robe. It's not poorly made, but it's not at all showy. It's just like this kind of basic cream color with some light blue accents. She has an aura of serenity. That's the first thing that really strikes you. She comes out from somewhere, maybe from a door on the side, and she walks calmly. She sits down, and everyone, of course, is having their little chattering with themselves, and people start to hush down, and she just sits there patiently. A few people talk with her, and she speaks real quietly. Elven woman, pointy ears, and she starts to talk to everyone, and then she does something which is a little peculiar. When she goes to prophetize, before she starts speaking, she kind of trances out. It seems a little weird, but she kind of like does like this sort of like wobbling thing, and her eyes kind of roll back. you're not sure exactly what's going on there. She didn't say any words. She didn't do any arcane gestures. She just...
Does this seem to be an act, or like she's pretending to be like this, or is this actually some magical thing is happening, or religion type thing is happening?
How do you determine that?
You you can use a skill check if you'd like. You could use like insight or some kind of knowledge check, whatever your angle on that.
Yeah, let me think. I think I'd go for religion to see if like something religious is. Well, no, actually, Robin would probably try and see if she's faking it. It'd probably be more insight.
Insight, okay.
Yeah. I got like a 4.
Okay. It seems to be genuine as far as you can tell.
I'm just watching very closely to see everything before approaching this after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody nearby, you all seem kind of curious about this, and someone clues you in, they're whispering like, she's channeling. They say she's channeling.
What is she channeling?
So yeah, she channels a spirit collective from beyond.
Interesting.
Lykar and Noxiqual also have heard about this. That apparently she has this way of channeling the voices or the wisdom or the thoughts of some collective of spirits that live like beyond the veil of the world, beyond the heavens.
Sounds like a patron.
So she starts to talk, she addresses the fact that it is a very troubling and blighted time in Dreckengrim. And we all want answers. We all want to feel better. Everyone has different ideas as to what's happening and the best path of solution. But despite these disagreements, we all can agree that we want things to improve, that we want to reduce suffering, that we want hope, that we want a better future, that we want a better future for our children and our grandchildren. We don't want a haunted land, and we don't want mists filled with horrors. We don't want nightmares racking our realm and our people. We want to thrive. We want abundance. We want life. We want health. That we all can agree on, can we not? And people are kind of interactive here. They don't shout out in the middle of her talking, but people don't stay stone quiet. They vocalize spontaneously.
Do they all seem to sort of be agreeing with her?
Most, but not all.
Not all. Is there a particular class or race based that are disagreeing and agreeing with her? Like, are the higher class more agreeing, or the lower class more agreeing, or is it sort of like spread out?
The lower class folk seem to be the ones that disagree the least.
So they're very agreeing, and the higher class are the ones that are okay.
Mm-hmm. But there are people that agree and disagree throughout. More agree though. So we have talk of gods, of the old faith, the primal spirits of the land, of fiends, of eldritch lords from beyond, of titans and elemental sovereigns. We have talk of the Mer Queen. There are all these power entities struggling, vying for control. But who really pays the price? True, they might kill each other, but at least they have death in battle, death realizing their power and their potential. Well, that is something great. But who really pays the price, though? We pay the price. But there's a trap in there. There's a trap. The trap is to say they are the doers and we are the victims. The universe conspires to give you everything that you want. There are no limits to your ability to create. Nothing ever is complete, and therefore all things can change. And what exists and what is being created is our own doing. What is a god? What is a demon? What is a dream? What is a nightmare? These are choices that we make. You either make a choice as to what you create, or you do not make a choice, and you are controlled like a puppet, and you create someone else's wish. But we are the creators, and we cannot lose sight of this. And like the air that we breathe, there is abundance. All things are available to you. Your existence will simply be as good as you allow it to be, or as terrible as you prevent it from being good. So she goes on and she talks a lot about that. It's a bit different. She's been described as like heretic and atheist, but that's really not what she's saying. She actually seems to be saying more that things like gods, demons, the Mer Queen, the dreams and nightmares that torment the land, these are actually the creations of people. Everyone make a religion check. This is going to be kind of based on your own knowledges.
Oh my goodness. I'm not rolling well tonight. I got a 9.
Got an 11.
Nice. I thought I had better religion.
It's not one of the ones I'm proficient in, but I still got a 17.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Jack of all trades.
Somehow.
Lykar?
I got an 18.
18.
Oh, nice.
Lykar and Card. It's just a little bit, but it reminds you a little bit of something you've heard about called psionics.
Ah.
Something about some kind of mental power. And she seems to think that everything is connected and all people and all living things and the whole universe is connected in this giant web. And that's actually what creates everything. Even gods, even the spells, all the realities, all the good, all the bad. It's like all people are actively creating it, whether they realize it or not. So here comes an interactive section. So people now get to ask her questions, and she likes it to be organized. So people actually queue up. Does anyone want to get in line to ask her a question? You don't have to choose now. If you want, you can wait and listen to other people, and then you can decide if you want to get in line.
I'm in line as soon as they start queuing up.
I'll get in line behind Noxiqual.
Trick will get in line somewhere as well.
Yeah, Carl will get in line. Everybody's getting in line.
All right, everyone gets in line. So there's 3 people, and then we'll go through you all. The first person that speaks is a man, and he looks very negative, frowning even. You're a mad woman. What about innocent people suffering unduly? My youngest daughter, she died of a fever in agony. She created that? I created that? Or what about all the people that died in the War of Three Dooms, or those that are going to die any day now? What about torture? Everyone is suffering unduly. Is this just because they're focusing on negative thoughts and creating some kind of hellish reality? Your words, they are full of piss and wind. She calmly waits and makes sure he says everything. And she says, I am not going to disagree with you. What you are saying is true. But what does it being true have to do with anything? Lots of things are true. They're facts. But that doesn't mean that we need to focus on them. Somebody focused on something in there. A torturer focused on the person he would torture. The Mer Queen focuses on whatever dark dreams she focuses on, and someone pays the consequence. We all have free will, and that is a very powerful thing, and there are very powerful consequences for it, and someone will pay that consequence. So there's a little bit of arguing, and he kind of keeps pushing his point that, yeah, I mean, there's consequences and stuff, but you can't just say that we all can think happy thoughts and the whole world's going to get better. Like, that's just completely disconnected from how the world really functions. And she talks, and you kind of wonder, where is this going? And she gets it to a point where she actually finds that common ground with this guy. And by the end of it, he doesn't seem mad anymore. And she asks him about a memory from his childhood. And everyone gets real quiet, because when she asks the question, she kind of puts in a specific detail. She's like, go back to that day where you picked the daisy with your mother. She says like a specific detail, and the guy kind of like, whoa. And she's like, how did that feel? Remember how that feels? What were you doing? What was your body doing? And she walks him through this memory. And by the end of it, she's like, how do you feel now? And he's like, I don't know. I feel like a weight has been lifted from me. Look around. Look at the bushes. Look at that bird. Look there. The sun is peeking through the sky. Do you not see a different world now? And he's just like, he's left breathless. The next person comes up in line. I want to know, will the gods ever return? The gods have already returned. You are the gods. All of you. The whole world is your creation. The Mer Queen is your own nightmare that you refuse to let go of. You perpetuate her through your own self-resisting and addiction to self-loathing. It is the great tragedy, and we enact it upon our own selves. But that is only one truth. We can simply focus on a different truth. We have the power. We are the creators, and we can create a better world. The next person comes up and says, I heard you speaking in Osterwarden. You said we need a great death to occur in order for the world to return to its natural state of good. This is the claim of a mad tyrant, a murderer, a queen of death who will genocide what is left of our land. Did I say that? Well, first of all, I would never treat death so dark and seriously. I like to jokingly call it our great croaking moment. There is truly no such thing as death. There are transitions. We go from one state to another. But your spirit will not die. Your essence will not die. And in any case, what I said was a great death and a great rebirth. They are connected. They are two sides of the same coin. They rely upon each other. And besides, I meant it metaphorically. What do you mean metaphorically? You don't think that people need to die and will be reincarnated in some higher form? Imagine you come to a village. You come across a village, and the people in this village have some very destructive beliefs. And you say, well, that's a terrible thing. This village is suffering unduly. And somebody says, well, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Because one day, all the people that are living here, well, they're going to die. And new generations will come through, and we won't have to deal with the destructive traditions of the older generation. But then you say, well, is everyone in this village going to just drop dead all at once, and a whole new generation is going to spring into existence all at once? Well, no, that's not going to happen. One person's going to be born here, one person's going to die there. It's a slow process, and the younger generation gets taught by the older generation. And so the destructive habit gets passed on person by person. You are more powerful than you think. You are connected to so many people, and what you do carries on like a great wave that touches the shores of so many islands. Noxiqual, I think you were the first one to jump in line. All right, so it's your turn.
As I step up and stare her with my one good eye, I say, I bring the storm. I am Captain Noxiqual, and I have a question for you, the one who spoke, the Valna the elf, the one who speaks for Bralaban, the collective of spirits. Tell me, where does the masked one's treasure lie? Where is the sunken ship known as... shoot, I wrote it down.
Siren's Kiss?
Yeah, thank you. The Siren's Kiss. Tell me this. I have no need of your philosophies.
Adventurers are always doing someone else's bidding, being used like a weapon, a magical and very destructive weapon. But we can do something different. What about recovering the sunken treasure within your own heart?
I choose what I do, and that is the whole point of all of your sayings. So, can you answer me this, or are you perhaps simply a mouthpiece for these spirits without any actual power yourself? Perhaps I should be speaking with them directly.
You are speaking with us now.
Excellent.
You are not prepared for what lies there beneath the waves.
Why do you say that?
The siren was strangled by the deep drinker, and she is now kissed by his children.
Well, tell me where it is still. Whether we go there or not, I would need that knowledge, regardless.
She sought, but never quite reached Evening Island.
Cut out there a little bit. What was it?
Sought, but never quite reached Evening's Island.
Evening's Island. Do I know where that is?
You just might have an idea about that.
Okay. Then I'm content, I will say. Yeah. Thank you.
Drake.
Drake's gonna walk up, look her, and then start speaking in Elven.
He replies to an Elven.
This one seeks a flame to part the fog. This one seeks to know how to get hold of such flame.
You speak of the god who was divided, the lantern who was shattered. His beacon still blazes, not far from here. And there is a group, ancient and holy, who tend that flame.
Until the adventurers show up.
Sorry, I'm thinking how Drake's gonna wants to respond to that. This one then wonders, will they be willing to pass the flame alone? Or will this one need to fight for it?
They will resist the one who is brethren of demon kind. Be very careful. And she's speaking in Elven, so I don't know who all can hear. I guess Robin and Lykar. What's that?
I'll cast tongues as soon as they start speaking Elven because I'm curious.
What is the components of the tongue spell?
I can tell you. Let's see. Spells. Tongues. Verbal material.
Verbal material? Okay. So you utter a phrase there by yourself, and you begin hearing what they're saying in the Elven tongue. So it goes from into actual intelligible words. And she says this to Drake. She says, "You tread the shadow, but it is not lost, but you are not lost in shadow. You tread the edge of the shadow, for the other side is light, and it is that very edge that propels you forward. But there is one close to you who dwells deep within the heart of that darkness. Be very, very careful of him."
This one shall. At that point, Drake's just going to give a small bow and step out.
Can people watching this actually see our messages that we type?
I think so.
Last call said,
actually, no. It's slightly cut off. So they can see part of it, but they can't see all of it, sadly.
So I didn't want people to lose that humor. Noxiqual's like, it's Robin.
Right. Well, actually, you should make it in a way so they can see the chat all the time. That'd be great.
Who is next up in line after Drake?
I think Robin is.
Oh, isn't it me?
Yeah.
Is Robin? Okay.
Does she have any followers?
Mm-hmm.
She has like followers.
Yeah. Here at the gathering.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There are some people that seem to be followers. In fact, you do see some elves here as well. Like people not from Ravenswold. Some people have like made pilgrimage.
Okay, when I get up there, because I'm very curious to learn more about this woman. So I'm gonna try and like get in like to the secret group. I wanna like sort of get on my knees, like sort of like fall to my knees and exclaim like, your speech today has moved me. I wish to follow you. Please, is there anything I can do to be by your side? I want to learn from you.
How do you learn?
Oh, she asked me that? Okay. Oh boy, let me think. I say I learn by practicing and trying new things and discovering myself.
We cannot teach you anything. You teach you everything. We can be a companion, but we are not your teacher. There is no teacher. There is only you. There is only the path to walk, to not walk, but none other sees your path. But if you are open and willing, you will hear our words. You will converse with us. There will be dialogue. That's great, isn't it? Isn't it good that we can speak? Isn't it good that we can exchange ideas and we can start to adjust our personal aims, to walk our pathways? If you do that, if you walk your true path and you have an open heart, open ears, we will communicate, but you will teach yourself. You will find everything that you need.
I sort of nod my head and I stand up and I say, is there any way that I can speak to these spirits as you do?
You are now.
All right, yeah.
She just like gazes deep into your eyes. or whoever it is that you're speaking to, channeling through her.
Trying to think of those. No, I think that's all I got. No.
Who's next? Lykar.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Card was in front of the line. So he's been kind of sitting here hearing all this metaphysical, metaphorical stuff that's been being asked, and I don't know if I guess he'll probably ask. So they say that in war you find who is wrong. You do not know who is right, but you merely find out who is left. My question to you, at the end of all this business, who will be left in these lands?
There are two answers I will give you. For there are two possibilities. There is the darkness, and there is balance. Sadly, there is no possibility for pure light. If darkness is chosen by us all, those who are left are only those who can survive the great winter to come. If we choose balance, if we choose virtue, which is not the same as light, it is the balance. All will be left. All will share in abundance.
I see. And those in castles with their high walls, those who seek to insulate themselves from the pain, where will they stand?
Castle walls will aid them. It will help them, but it will only delay the inevitable.
You know, you remind me of one I met once, a dwarf, a strange fellow. He was always going on about, oh, and this will be the way that the dreams are to flow, for this is how they go, and you know, something of that nature. That's it's similar, metaphysical meta. How do you get this one?
Old mushroom brain.
Yes, that's what I called him too.
He seeks to drink of the ambrosia. He also resists the cup at the same time. His one hand reaches for it while his other pulls it away.
I'm gonna steal her money until she starts not speaking in riddles.
Well, that's probably about as much of an answer as Card's gonna get. And the closest, even if it's not directly about him, the closest to definitive something. So he'll step aside after that. That's satisfying. He'll let Lykar go and ask about Lykar things.
Oh boy, Fainel, I have been searching for you for a very long time. All the way back when I had an affliction, I was told to seek you out.
A shadow was spawning from within you.
It was.
But you were friends with this old mushroom brain. You tasted the cup of ambrosia. You were healed.
Yes. And now I have many other questions for you. I wish to ask you about some of my dreams and a man named Ringle Bracken who haunts my dreams.
Dark Rider. Face in the clouds. We have not seen you in a long time, Telvantis.
Well, apparently you know more about me than I know of myself.
Is it your aim as well to confront Deep Drinker and recover the sunken treasure?
My personal aims are to eventually clear my family's name so that me may walk freely in Drekengrim again. And I also have my friends here, and I wish to aid them in their quests as well.
You must face the Dark Knight. Running is not going to help you. You can help you. You are trying to help you, and you are also running away. Are you ready for that confrontation?
I would like to think that I am, but when that moment arrives, I do not wish to falter. I wish to confront it and be victorious and free myself of that.
I have never known anyone who died from battle. I've only known those who have died from the fear of dying in battle.
There is someone who once said, cowards die many times before their death.
But only the brave truly live.
And they only die once.
Confront the Dark Rider.
I will do my best. Any advice on helping my friends with their endeavors? As I do not have many friends, and I hold those that I do have very dearly.
As he says, I'm your friend Lykar.
I will deal with you later.
Damn.
Robin, I think you only have one friend.
And even that's a lie.
Yeah, I was going to say, even that's not true.
Let's check the cat of nine tails. Yep, still ready to go. All right.
You seek to aid your allies in recovering the sunken treasure, in claiming the boon of the ghostly flame atop the spire in the sea. You do not believe you can do this on your own? You are seeking something greater.
We are not sure what we are going to expect from that. There is much that is unknown still to me and to all of us, as we have been in this land and no news from afar.
The Deep Drinker is worshipped in this town and in many others.
Yes.
You passed by his waters just today.
Yes, I found them very curious. And I would be interested to know more about this person or entity.
You hear a name just in your own mind. It's telepathic. Dagon. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Look at my sheet here. Wisdom plus 4. 20.
Okay. You feel a shudder of some kind of primeval terror. This name taps into something. You resist it though, and you keep hold of yourself. But you see flashes in your mind of like the first men, the primitive early folk of Dreckengrim before the Magnalanders came over and conquered it. And you see people making human sacrifices at some kind of great chasm, a watery chasm, right? Like a waterfall. And there's some old slithering, writhing, aquatic tentacled thing down there. And they appease him and they pray to him, not because he is benevolent or has some ideals or brings advances order. They do it to appease him and to basically get his favor. And whatever is slithering down there touches on some old primal node deep within you, some kind of fear that you have inherited from an ancestry you're not even aware of, but you resist this. You just kind of shudder there for a second when you hear this name echo in your mind. This is who has laid claim to the sunken siren. He and his brood.
This could prove to be very troubling, very difficult.
I have some ideas that we can discuss later on that.
We will, you have given me much to think about. And I hope to speak with you again someday.
I am glad that you were refreshed from the affliction that was upon you. And I wish you fruitful endeavors from here forward.
Thank you, Danelle. And good day to you.
There are a few people that come up through the line after here. They have different questions. Most of the argumentations have been quelled. And so people have different questions about health and future and such. A lot of people are kind of dumbfounded by your party's questions and kind of the audacity that some of you have, particularly Noxiqual. And then it goes on for a while. The whole session lasts for more than an hour or so. I mean, no one has watches or anything, but the session goes on for a time, and then it concludes. And she, respectfully thanks everyone, and she goes to wherever she had come before. A couple of people are alongside her, and everyone's just kind of left chatting and conversing, and everyone's like really feeling the inspiration of the talk. People feel like their minds are connected. Some people swear they can like read each other's thoughts. Everyone's just like buzzing.
I want to stab her. Something about her irks me.
You're not alone. Like somebody beside you is like,
oh, I'm not saying that, but
oh, you don't say? All right.
No. I'm just thinking it in my head, like.
Well, there are some people next to you that are like, they're really grumbling, kind of commiserating, at least with the vibe you're giving off, and there's like, she's so arrogant. She thinks she's some, what is she? She's a goddess or something. She's full of shit, mad woman. She's going to be assassinated. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but someone is going to assassinate her.
Definitely.
She's going to be thrown into a dungeon. I don't know why the town council hasn't already done it.
I agree with your sentiments.
You just want to take her voices for yourself.
Hey, I would look at Noxiqual and say, hey, that's not the only reason, okay? She gave me a bad vibe. She wouldn't let me join her followers. Look at me, I'm precious.
You
Why wouldn't you want me?
always want to steal things.
So there are people nearby that that are talking with you all. How chatty are you getting with the folk of Ravenswold here?
Oh, I'll be very chatty with them all.
I
Okay.
exude my aura of don't, fuck with me unless you got something serious to say.
I actually
Drake's going to do his traditional shadow step and get the fuck out.
All right, so Drake slips behind a bush and is not seen anymore.
Then he's also going to activate his ring of disguise, so that way no one can actually find him, and just
okay.
Wait until the group shows back up alone.
While everyone's talking, I kind of want to look at everyone and be like, would anyone like to hear some fantastic music from my friend Sir Carderock Hawkness?
Oh, would they, from your friend, would they now like to hear some music? Oh, you say?
It's absolutely for free too. He doesn't even charge for it. He'll just play whatever you want.
Character.
Many people seem excited at the prospect of a bardic performance here. There's someone that's chatting with Noxiqual. I don't know if Noxiqual's up for it, but a strong-looking fellow, kind of a woodsman looking guy. He's actually wearing armor. He's geared up in some kind of hardened leather scale armor, and he's got a long bow. And he kind of catches your vibe, and he's talking about. He doesn't even really talk about the talk here. He's talking about where it's basically giving adventure advice, hey, I've been to this part of the woods, and watch out for if you see these kind of tracks. He's exchanging adventurer bro stories with you.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I will. I'll listen to any advice he seems to give that is good advice. I'll just kind of nod along. Have you heard of the Raven Queen? I hear that she is quite popular in these parts.
The leader of my party is a priestess of the Raven Queen.
Really?
Yes, that she is.
I don't suppose, since we're here in Ravenswold, it would be probably a waste if we were not to at least perhaps know or learn something about her or her cult here. I'd be interested in perhaps. I know some of my friends would be interested in meeting them, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, this is it's a small movement, underground movement at this time, but I could probably get you an invitation extended to one of the underground cults. It's held at a home, at a household. Would you meet with me 2 nights from now at the town square?
2 nights from now. I can't make any guarantees, but if you're going to be there anyways, perhaps we'll be there.
Okay, well, I will come to look for you there. I am Tenerife. I am a scout by profession.
Captain Noxiqual.
It's good to meet you, Captain.
Storm's Eye.
I'm of the company Enigmas of Ambition.
Enigmas of Ambition. I'm going to write that.
So you actually met the magic shopkeeper. He's the father. He's the father of one of the members of this party.
Yes, now that you mentioned your group's name, I think we met father of one of your members,
Oh, you met old Elgar, did you?
Yes, we did.
He's an interesting guy. Yes, he's Torvili's father.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So, he basically says, he kind of gives you a quick rundown. His name's Tenerife. He says he's a scout. And there is Torvili. He calls him an arcanist. He is the son of Elgar. This priestess of the Raven Queen, he actually calls her a battle priestess. Her name is Mylir, And there's also a knight, and his name is Naumil, Sir Naumil, who is probably off taking care of his precious horse at the moment. But he has apparently won the Dreckengrim joust in a prior year.
I bet he's not all that great.
It was a lucky day for him.
Aye.
And my Lear might have made a couple prayers.
Fair enough.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, does anyone else have any specific interest with the townsfolk here after the
this is going to sound like a rude request, but can Drake get one of his gold coins exchanged for a bag of copper coins?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you can go. It's not a working day, but here in just like 2 days' time, you can go to a money changer and easily get 100 copper coins.
Okay. At some point, he wants to do that.
After like the prophet left, was it pretty rowdy? Like, are people like kind of distracted?
Rowdy, no, but like I said, buzzing. Like everyone is, stimulated mentally.
You think me you walking around kind of bumping into people, I might be able to get a couple coins.
Ah, you speak of pickpocketing.
Yes.
His ass thrown in jail.
All right. So there's a bunch of people here, a mixed group of townsfolk of Ravenswold. You don't see any town's guard. However, people could possibly call town's guard. People could possibly detain you if they catch you. Are you okay with the stakes on that?
If I don't get caught, I won't get thrown in prison, right?
Esper can't make those kind of guarantees.
You could get knifed.
I'm gonna go for it. I want to go for it. I haven't stole anything yet. Let's do it.
Make an insight check.
An insight check.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. That is insight intelligence or
wisdom?
Oh, it is wisdom. Okay, so it's not. It's 11.
Okay. Now make a sleight of hand check to pickpocket a. Can you just give me what kind of target you're looking for? A finely dressed person, someone who looks aristocratic, someone who looks like maybe a tradesman, a skilled worker, or one of the lowly, humble folk of Ravenswold.
I'm not gonna go for the humble folk. I want to go for maybe probably more of a merchant. So not super high class, but someone who has some money, like some gold probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you call this? A small time merchant.
Yeah.
Very well.
And someone that's sort of distracted in conversation, so they're not.
Oh yes, there is a buzzing conversation going all throughout here.
So I'm doing sleight of hand?
Yep.
All right, come on, dice.
1.
Oh my goodness. That is a natural 19 plus 11 because I have expertise, so that's a 30.
30 is really good. So you come away with a coin purse.
Oh boy.
That you have taken, and you put the little jingly but not so jingly out loud thing. You stow it on yourself, and you feel pretty good about yourself because the person did not hear you. They didn't notice you. You're just at their back.
Very good.
And you discreetly start, making your way whatever direction you were walking. And as you go, several people all turn and start looking right at you.
With a 30? What?
No one saw it happen. But just a moment later, a scattering of people throughout the whole crowd stop their conversations and gaze right at you.
As I'm walking away.
And that is where we will pause.
Oh no!
Oh, that is perfect.
I have a new character handy for next.
I'm so confused. I rolled a 30. That was so high.
Yeah. Something else is going on.
Oh boy!
All right. So
I forgot to mention when I was disguised, I was looking at as Robin.
Oh yeah.
God, I really want to know what is going to happen now because, like, I have 2 weeks or a week.
We'll all have to go on in the suspense for a while. Thank you all very much for another great session, an interesting session, and look forward to what happens next time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thanks, Esper.
Oh yeah,
That's a blast.
All right, so we'll close the session. Oh, before I do we have some people in the live chat still to do a quick giveaway?
Yeah.
Is anybody out there that would like to receive a little free thank you gift from myself? If so,
you get the gold purse that I stole. There you go.
Quick, toss it in the well.
My gift to you as Robin the
Justin. Forgive me for saying your name wrong. Howenstein. All right. Here is my email. Just shoot me an email, and I will send you back a little thank you gift for sticking with us. esperthebard@gmail.com. Did I get that right? Yes, I did. Thank you so much, Justin. And once again, thank you guys. I'll stop the session here. We'll vote on who gets inspiration for next session. And until next time.